It's time for the real world mile per gallon challenge, and this time we have the brand new 2024 LC 500, and it is the V8 Convertible. This is copper crest. Let's take a better look at it. There you go. Like I said, it is copper crest. This is the V8 version. We're going to do our mile per gallon test and see if it comes out to what the manufacturer says it's going to. You can see it's not a very big trunk here, so let's take a quick look here. Over here, got a little button right here, pops open that trunk, and there you can see that it is not very big back here. That's it there. Let's take a quick look on the inside. Now, this is a bespoke version, so it has been specially ordered this way. So you got blue and white interior in here. You got powered seats with lumbar. You can see the seats are not very big in the back. I believe the seats are actually touching when you have them in your seating position, so not very many people are going to sit back there. So here is the steering wheel and the whole rest of the interior. That is about it. So let's go ahead and head to the gas station. We'll get filled up, we'll get this test started, and I will give you the parameters of the test as we go, and maybe a little bit more information about this car. We are here at the local gas station, and we're going to get filled up. Now you can see here it does take premium unleaded, so that's what we're going to be putting into it. Okay, so we are going to lift it up. We are going to get 91, which is the premium here. Go in, ready to go. Now we have driven this for a few days, so it's going to take a little while to fill it up. We'll see what we end up with. Okay, we are full at $41.46. We got 8.3 gallons, so that's what we're going to be starting off with. All right, let's get on the road and we'll get this test started. All right, we are getting ready to head out. So we got two places that we can watch this. We can watch this on this main screen right here, or so we're going to watch it over here. This is where I'm going to have you guys watching. And right now 30.5, because I had just reset it as I was driving down the road. We're going to reset that right now. All right, you can see 0 there, and we're starting out 0 right here. Let's get out on the road. Let's see how this turns out, and I will update you about this car and the parameters of the test as we go. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the parameters of this test if you haven't seen me do this before. So we're going to run 100 miles. We are going to fill up just like we did. We are going to go through 2 towns. In those 2 towns, we will make full loops through those towns, hitting stoplights, stop signs, etc., just so you get the full in-town drive. There's going to be about 60 miles of highway, about 20 miles of city, and about 20 miles of interstate. Try to give it a somewhat balanced mix of driving. We also will be driving 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. So that will be 60 on the highway, between 35 and 50 in the city, and the interstate will be at 75. So once we get onto the interstate, we'll go 10 miles on the interstate in one direction, we'll turn around, and then we'll come back and we will do the entire trip in the reverse order so we can negate any wind or terrain, that type of thing, and that way we can make sure that it is kind of a somewhat controlled test, but just with those parameters, because I want this to be as real world as possible as what your mile per gallon is going to be over the course of 100 miles on an average day, average person driving, which most people drive 5 miles per hour over the speed limit at least. So that's the average, is 5 miles per hour over, some more, some less. If you drive over that, you're probably going to get less gas mileage. If you drive under that, you're probably going to get better gas mileage. If you have a heavy foot, because this thing sounds so good. You're going to get less than what I do today. If you don't have a heavy foot and you like to go cruise and you just like to have a nice drive, you may achieve higher than what I'm going to get today. But those are the parameters. We will return back to the same gas station, try to use the same pump to fill back up with, and then we will look at what the EPA says we should be getting with this car versus what the car says the mile per gallon is versus what we get with actual calculations with real numbers. And that's what I'm here to give you guys. What you can expect over the course of 100 miles is getting in and driving every day in normal drive. We're getting ready to come into the first town, so I will update you at where we're at so far. All right, we are entering our first town, and so far with that highway drive, we are at 22.3. So that's actually doing really well. A previous best 29.7. I don't think I had driven very long on that, but so far we are at 22.5. We are going to make a loop through this town, and then I will let you know where we're at as we are exiting town. That number is probably going to drop pretty good. Okay, we just left town, and now you can see we are at 21.4 miles per gallon. Let's check out this one here. There you got 21.5 miles per gallon. So that's where we were at leaving town, and now I am going to give you guys a little bit of information about this car. Maybe it's something you're thinking about, maybe it's not, but it is pretty cool, and it's a V8. Are you someone that's been interested in an LC 500? I am. I think these cars are awesome. Last year we had a green one, which I actually really loved. It was the hybrid version, and it was green, nori green, and it was a beautiful car. It was not convertible. I don't really care for the convertible thing, although it is kind of nice here in Illinois. It's 93 degrees today during this drive. It was really nice earlier to have the top down and just cruise, but normally I'm not going to do that on a daily basis, or I don't plan to. So that really didn't make too much of a difference to me. Now, I would prefer, me personally, I prefer the hybrid just because you get about 10 miles per gallon more. This one is only supposed to be rated at 18 miles per gallon. So, I mean, we're looking at 15 in the city and 25 on the highway, 18 average, and I would like to have a lot better than that. So if I can get this same car, but in a hybrid and 10 miles per gallon more, and really the horsepower's not a whole lot different and the speed is not a whole lot different. Now this one, being the V8, has 471 horsepower, and you can really feel it, you can tell. And it sounds amazing. You guys will hear that whenever we get up on the interstate. We will give it some gas and listen to this exhaust and engine just, wow. It pops and cracks and does all kinds of crazy things. Sounds amazing. It's crazy how Lexus has put something like this together, but it is their flagship. This car is not cheap. This is also their bespoke version. So what that means is you can pay an extra, I think it's a little over $5,000 or right around $5,000 more, and you can then choose what you want on your car. You can personalize it. You can have this interior here, which is not my favorite, the blue and the white. It's almost a purpley blue. It's not my favorite, but you can choose your interior. You can choose whether you have a convertible. You can choose whether you have a sunroof or not, or a panoramic roof. You can choose whether you have a carbon fiber roof. There's a lot of things that you can choose on this. I would say, for me personally, I would prefer to have the coupe version. But if you are a convertible person, I would buy this convertible over just about any other convertible that I can think of right now. It does get a little pricey. This one's going to come in at $117,000. Now they start, I believe, in the around 94 to 96, somewhere in that range, and then it can add up very, very quickly. So if it's something that you are considering, then you must have the money, and I would do a bespoke version and order your car exactly how you want it. The suspension, though, is very, very good. It's very tight. So if you are in an area where it has a lot of rough roads, a lot of potholes and that type of stuff, it's probably going to feel like it's a little bit of a rough ride. But overall, on regular roads, it's going to be smooth as butter. And the seats are freaking amazing. I love the seats. Okay, we are entering the next town, and we're going to make a loop through this town also. But so far, you can see we're at 25.9. So that's doing really, really well. So that's to average 25 on the highway, and that is what we are averaging. Actually, averaging almost 26. So, but it's supposed to be considerably lower in the city, and an average about 18. So I will update you again after we make the loop through the city, and then we will get up on the interstate. We're going to get on the interstate here in just a few minutes. So after making that loop through town, we are now at 23.6 miles per gallon. So we're still way above the EPA average right now, but we are getting up on the interstate, and that will probably eat some up, but we'll have to see how that turns out. So here we go. We're getting ready to go up here, and then as we get to the top, I will give some acceleration so you guys can hear the beautiful sound of this engine and exhaust. I have some cars coming, so we're going to go 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Woohoo! Boy, that thing's got some giddy up. Wow. Awesome. All right, we're going to settle in here at 75, and we're going to keep on cruising. So we are at 23 miles per gallon right now, 23.1, I guess. And I will update you guys when we make the loop to turn around. All right, we are getting ready to get off the interstate right now, and so far we are at 25.1. So I am just amazed at this. 25 miles per gallon is supposed to average 18, and we're hitting 25 right now after two city loops and a trip on the interstate. So now we're just going to come up here, we're going to turn and make our loop, and then we'll head back down, and we'll get to hear a little bit more of that engine and the exhaust as we get on the interstate. You know, I've had some people make comments about you don't have to gun it getting onto the interstate, but maybe not. Maybe you don't have to, but in this case, it's a real world situation, and some people do, some people don't. You just have to decide which person you are. Because if I've got this engine and this exhaust sound, or you have a Mustang or something like that, when you get on it, getting on the interstate, it just sounds good. So we're going to go right here and get back out on the interstate. That corner. We do have a car in front of us, so we're not going to be able to like hammer it like we did earlier, but boy, this thing has so much power that I hit a little bump and you could feel the thing want to pop sideways, and then it would just take off like a rocket. Here we go. All right, let's get back in at 75, and we are headed on back. Now we're going to make this trip in the reverse order that we did earlier, so that we negate any wind that might be going on, all the terrain of the hills and things like that, which of course we are in Illinois, so there's not a huge amount of hills, but we do have a lot of wind and our weather conditions usually mess with everything that we do. So, all right, we are averaging 24.8 right now, and I will update you again whenever we get ready to get off the interstate. We're getting ready to get off the interstate right now, and we are at 25.4 miles per gallon. Got some motorcyclists going by right now. Heading out on a trip, it looks like. All right, it's 25.4. That's what we're at. We're getting off the interstate right now, and then we're going to make a loop through the town again on our way back through, and then I will update you guys after that. We are heading out of town now after making the loop, and we are now at 24.7 miles per gallon. So, wow, this is just pretty amazing. I really would have expected a little bit lower than that, maybe around 20, but yeah, we're supposed to be at 18. So, all right, we're going to be heading back to the town before this one, and we'll make a loop through that one also, but I will update you when we get close to town. We are entering town now after that drive from the other town, and now 25.8. This is insane. I cannot believe this. I understand it says 25 miles per gallon EPA for the highway, but we're over 25, and you just saw it go up. You saw it go up. I mean, this is nuts. I just cannot believe this. So we're going to make a loop through town and see if it goes down any. But we look like we're going to be sitting right at the top of that highway mile per gallon mark instead of the average. But we'll go through this town, and I'll let you know as soon as we get done. We just made the loop through town, and now we are at 25.3. So we are still above that highway average for that EPA says. So I think we're going to pretty much settle in right around here, around this 25 to 25 and a half. So we'll have to see what the actual calculations come down to when we figure out how much gas that we've actually burned in these 100 miles. And then I will let you guys know that, but we're heading back to the gas station right now, and we'll get filled up, and we'll see where our numbers sit. We are coming up on the gas station and that we filled up at the beginning. So we've made our trip. We've done everything in the forward order, then reverse order, so everything should be good to go. So let's get in here and see what our numbers are right now. The car is saying 25.6, and that is just amazing. All right, let's get in here and let's get some gas, and then we will run the calculations and find out what it truly is. We are here in park, and odometer 2918. All right, that's what we've got, average 25.6 miles per gallon. Let's get her filled up and see how those numbers match up. All right, we are back, and as we had to do earlier, we will be filling up with premium. In case you were wondering, here in Illinois, we've got $4.94 for 91 octane. We've got $3.94 for 89 and $3.44 for 87. All right. I'm going to be putting in premium. And we are ready. Okay. Shouldn't take a whole lot. I'm going to say about maybe 3.5 gallons at the most. Well, let's see what we end up with. There's 1 gallon. What are we going to get? Are we going to get that 3.5? 3. Oh, almost 3.5. So we got 3.410. All right, it's gonna be our number. right, let's get everything put back in here. Let's do the calculations and see how accurate the car is, because we already know that we're over the highway average that the EPA says. So let's see if the car and the actual calculations are close. The car says 25.5, and need to be honest with you, we moved, and so my drive had to change slightly. And I'm still working on getting it to that 100 miles and figuring out how I need to do that. So this was the first one, and really only came in at 91 miles. And I didn't actually reset, I forgot to reset the trip odometer. I reset the mile per gallon meter, but I didn't do the trip, so it didn't keep track of the miles. So I had to go back and look at the beginning picture of how many miles we had, and we started out with 2,827 miles on this car, and when we ended the test it was 2918, so that was 91 miles. So I need to make a few adjustments to make sure that we get to that 100 miles in the next test. So with that, we're going to do 91 miles on this. So I'm going to get the calculator out right now, and we are going to go to 91 miles divided by the gallons that we put in, which was 3.41, and that comes out to 26.6, or if you want to round out, 26.7. So that is actually even better than what the car says. Now, yes, it's not exact, because I don't have, what may have been 91.5 miles, it may have been 91.8 miles. All I can go by is what the odometer is. Next time we'll make sure that we get that miles reset, so we get the exact miles with the tenths and everything. But right there, you're looking at 26.6, 26.7. So that is over a mile per gallon more than what the car even said we were getting. So I would have to say that the EPA and Lexus rated that really low for what they actually can get. So that's where you're at right now. The 2024 Lexus LC 500 V8 Convertible will give you 26.6 miles per gallon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more tests just like this one, and the review on this LC 500 should already be up on the channel, and it's going to be linked up here in the window, and the other video is going to be one that YouTube thinks that you're going to like. I think you're going to like them both, and I will see you in the next one.